For my ASQ assessment, I was able to use a coworker's son. He was 57 months old, so he was right at the beginning of the cutoff for the 57-month to 66-month age range for ASQ. So my coworker's an LCSW, and she was really curious to know what the scores would be, and I was really curious too. Um, we both do assessments in our work, but it's all for behavioral health. So this would be the first time we would be doing an assessment for developmental issues. So I was really excited to try it out. Uh, so the child I used, his mom said that he worries a lot, and that he was a little bit anxious around new people. I had met him once before, but he was a little anxious at first, but after he warmed up a little bit, we were able to get into going over all the questions. Um, One thing his mom had told me is that he had experienced trauma uh, before he was 3 years old. He was in a car accident. So this was the autonomy versus shame and doubt phase from Erickson. And so some of his behavioral issues that he had were that he didn't like to be told no, and when he would like lash out or sometimes push another kid. Um, but it was really interesting working with him. He wanted to make some tasks more challenging. He's very prepared. His parents spent a lot of time with him and work with him, and read to him. So one of the things I was thinking about during this whole thing was, okay, so what would the difference be if it was a kid with one parent, or no parents, or a kid who lived in poverty, or I was thinking of all these variables that would have changed it, because I was assuming in the beginning that his scores would be fairly high, which they were ended up being very high, except for one issue that we had come come up to was that he had an issue with hearing. He has a blockage behind one of his ears, and it's hereditary. So the hearing issue really affected some of his communication, and throughout the assessment, I attributed a lot of some of the issues he had, especially with communication, to probably that hearing issue that he had. Um, it seemed to make him a little self-conscious because he couldn't always hear things correctly, and I think maybe sometimes the instructions were kind of lost because he couldn't hear that well. He scored high in everything but communication. His problem solving was really good. He was really excited to identify the colors. He obviously practices it a lot. He had his own pack of coloring pencils, and he even knew some of the colors that weren't part of the primaries. Uh, his gross motor skills were also excellent. He maxed out the score on that, and I can attribute that to his parents putting him in soccer. He's been able to make a lot of friends and get a lot of socialization through playing sports and soccer, which is something I talked about a lot in my paper, was the correlation between kids who play sports in schools and having increased academic success, um, having more friends, having more self-esteem. Basically, just how it's a really big plus for him, and it was definitely one of his best strengths, as opposed to some of the barriers he had. Um, so I definitely encouraged her to keep him playing sports. Uh, see what else. Yeah, his fine motor was also very good. He had practiced using scissors. He was in preschool, and his both his parents spent a lot of time with him. So, a lot of the ways that he's raised and parented definitely showed through during the assessment. One of the things that also taught me too is that, I do a lot of assessments as well, but it's for behavioral issues. But one of the things that we work with a lot is post-traumatic stress disorder, and that's definitely something that shows you that how time and timing affects how a kid will respond to it. If like my child that I did this assessment on, he was in that car accident, and he experienced that trauma, and sorry, someone came in here, and so he during the stage that he was in the car accident was that autonomy versus shame and doubt, and you could see how that affected some of his behaviors as he got older, and so um, yeah, that's just how I made the link between PTSD and time and timing and child development. So overall, I really enjoyed this assignment, and it was great. I look forward to doing more of it, and thank you.